Back in early 2020, everyone was celebrating the new year and the start of a new decade, but no one in the entire world was prepared for what happened next. Millions of people all around the world got infected with a seemingly unknown and deadly virus. The virus forced almost everyone to start wearing masks and taking precautions to not get infected. But as the months went by and the infections increased, so many people were forced to start working from home and the lockdowns increased. Now, this had a major effect on the world because there was much less need for transportation and hence less need for fossil fuel energy, resulting in an oil stock crash around the end of March 2020. Now, at that time, I actually made a video talking about my predictions for the oil and gas companies that were affected by this major slowdown. And I gotta say, the Musketeers all over the world really loved it. In fact, it is currently my most watched video on the Musketeer Inc. channel. But was I right about these stocks? Did the stocks that I chose actually double in value since then? And what about the coming 3, 4, 5, even 10 years? How will they actually perform in the future? So in today's video, I'm going to be going over my top 5 oil stocks that I thought had the most potential for growth, and are they actually still worth investing into? What's up, Musketeers? It's your commander here, and let's take a look at the stocks that I spoke about last year and how well they've been performing since then. Now, just to confirm, I'm not a CPA or a financial advisor, but I have been seeing these stocks perform over the last year and maybe even longer. So let's take a look at them and let's figure out what's been happening over the last 12 months. Also, we're going to be looking at their potential in the future for better performance. Alright, let's take a look at my number 5 stock on the list. It's none other than Schlumberger. Alright, Musketeers, so here we have Schlumberger on the New York Stock Exchange. Today's price is $24.41, and we can actually see here that the stock was pretty much flat ever since 1981, and then coming all the way up to about 2000, that's where we started seeing some more activity. Now, in terms of the stock, we can actually see here that the previous highs were around $40 or so back in the early 2000s. But as time went along, we're actually seeing here that it could have gone as high as $100, and that's only about 10 or 12 years ago. In fact, even up to 6 or 7 years ago, it went above $100 in price. So this stock is definitely a stock that you should look at as far as an oil and gas stock that you can double, even triple your money in. Also too, we're actually seeing here that the dividend is actually about 2%. So what we're seeing is that the stocks that you would want to double or triple in the future, they would actually have much lower dividend yields. These stocks, you wouldn't expect them to be paying out every year, but the payoff is that you're gonna purchase a stock like this, and then hopefully in the future, it would actually double or triple in price. And that's where you actually get your return on this investment. Alright, Musketeers, so we just looked at Schlumberger as far as their price today, their potential to actually go up in value in the coming years, and also how high they actually have been in the past years, and if they can actually double or triple in the coming years. So next up on our list is actually Baker Hughes. Baker Hughes is yet another oil and gas services company, and they're pretty huge. In fact, they're a multi-billion-dollar company just like Schlumberger. So let's take a look at their stock performance and let's see how much potential they actually have in the future. Alright, Musketeers, so here we have Baker Hughes on the New York Stock Exchange. Today's price is $22.17. We're actually seeing here that back in the late 80s, it was a very stable stock until it came to the early 2000s where there was a huge uptrend, super huge uptrend that actually led to a major crash down in 2008. But we did see that it did come back up. Basically, it's fluttering around that $70 to $80 mark and has slowly been going down over the last 6 or 7 years, all the way down to the crash that came down to $12 last year. We can also see that Baker Hughes has a major part of it owned by General Electric, and this is something important to note. I'll actually talk about this as well. Alright, Musketeers, so we just looked at Baker Hughes on the New York Stock Exchange, and we saw that the price does have some potential to double, even triple in the coming years. An important thing to note as well with this company is that they're actually majorly owned by General Electric. This actually gives them a lot of room to actually expand and possibly gain more capital funding in the future. This is pretty important because even though in 2020 there was a very serious recession, there could be more problems to come in the future. So it's good to have that blanket of a larger company having a major stake in the organization. Alright, so moving on to our number 3 stock, we're looking at Occidental Petroleum. Let's take a look at the stock on the New York Stock Exchange and let's see what the charts have to tell us now. Alright, Musketeers, so here we have Occidental Petroleum Corporation on the New York Stock Exchange. Today's price is $21.21, and from this chart we can actually tell that the stock basically from 1981 all the way up to about 2000, it was a pretty flat stock. From there on though, it steadily and very quickly actually rose up to a peak of over $100. We can see here though that it's been fairly consistently having highs of around $80 around there, but now it has crashed all the way back down, just like our previous 2 stocks that we looked at. But what makes this a good stock to consider is the fact that it has the potential to steadily go up, steadily go in this direction in the coming years. Another important article that I'd recommend you look at, the fact that the CEO of Occidental Petroleum actually claims that their green push does more than Tesla to actually reduce their carbon dioxide emissions. We're actually seeing here that Vicky Holub, who's the chief executive at Occidental, actually said that the amount of CO2 the company pumped back underground in their oil extraction process exceeded, now think about this, they're saying that it exceeded the largest electric car maker in the world. It actually exceeded their contribution towards decarbonizing the atmosphere. This is big news and something that you should actually look at as far as it impacting the price of this stock in the future. So Musketeers, what do you think about that? Tell me in the comments below, what do you think about these last 3 stocks? Especially Oxy. Imagine the CEO of this huge oil and gas company is actually claiming they're doing much better for carbon dioxide emission reductions than Tesla, the largest electric car company in the world. Now that's a big claim and really shows how much effort they're putting in to actually reducing their impact on the environment. Alright Musketeers, so let's move on to our number 2 stock on our list. It is none other than Halliburton. Alright Musketeers, so here we have Halliburton Company on the New York Stock Exchange. Today's price is $18.76, and let's take a look at its performance over the last few decades. Alright Musketeers, so we can actually see here that all the way back in 81 it was about $15, and then it was pretty flat for about 15 years And then all of a sudden it started hiking up and down, very erratic. And then after the year 2000, it steadily climbed all the way up until 2008, where it actually topped off at $45, crashed down, came back up, crashed a bit again, and then it peaked out all the way up at $67. Now, in terms of a consistent high, we can actually see here that it was consistently high at around $55. But what I like about this stock is how erratic it is. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down. Very constant. Also, as we're seeing here, it is currently $18.75. Now, back in 81, it was actually higher than that when it first came onto the market. Right now, it is currently going on an uptrend, and it's expected to go up, expected to break out and have a steady, strong uptrend as the years go by. Now, something to keep in mind as well too with a lot of these oil and gas companies is that they're having large job cuts. In fact, Halliburton here actually laid off 15,000 people from their workforce in just 2020 alone. And who knows how much is to come as well too. We're seeing multiple reports of them having job cuts as well. So definitely something to consider, especially since 15,000 jobs out of 55,000 is a pretty large amount. Alright, Musketeers, so we just finished up with our 4 major oil stocks, and now we're down to our number 1 oil stock that I think has the most potential for growth as a capital gains investment. Now, if you've actually been watching up until this point, I definitely like you to actually subscribe right down below, or give us a follow if you're viewing this on Facebook or Instagram. Alright, Musketeers, so down to our number 1 stock. This is actually a stock that I think has a lot of potential. It doesn't have as large as the amount of revenue as the previous stocks, but they do have a lot of potential as far as their past performance, and they also are super low at this point, very much undervalued in the market. You know what? Without further ado, let's take a look at Apache Corporation stock. Alright, Musketeers, so here we have my number 1 stock pick. It's actually Apache Corporation on the NASDAQ itself. Today's price is $16.34, very low. And if we look at the maximum time frame, we're actually going to see that this stock also started off in 81, was very flat for a long period of time, but also quickly spiked and increased in value up until the 2008 financial crisis. Then there was somewhat of a recovery, but slowly but surely came back down all the way to today's current price. Now, if we actually look at this stock, we can actually imagine a kind of bell shape. If you could actually just imagine that, a bell shape of this stock, meaning that we're on the end of the bell here. In this area here, we're on the end of the bell. So what we're expecting this to actually go up in value, go up in a forward and upward direction as time goes along. Now, at this price, $16.38, it did have the potential to go up above $100, but fairly consistently, it did reach $100 very often over the last 6 to 10 years. So, Musketeers, with a $16 average stock price and its potential to actually go up above $100, Apache Corporation seems like the best stock for me if you're actually looking to buy a stock and hold it for the longer time period for it to go up in value. Now, you might look at all of these stocks and think maybe one of them might be a better choice, or maybe there are other companies within the oil and gas industry that you think have a much better potential to actually grow in the coming years. You can actually tell me down below in the comments, and I'll actually take a look at them and see what my thoughts are on those companies. Also, I'd like you to tell me in the comments below which one of the 5 oil companies that I mentioned in this video have the most potential for growth In your opinion, is it Schlumberger with their really long track record? Is it Oxy that actually touts to be doing much better for the environment than Tesla? Is it Halliburton that tends to be a bit erratic in terms of their pricing? Is it Baker Hughes that actually is part of the General Electric conglomerate, so they actually have a lot of capital at their disposal? Or is it Apache that doesn't have as much revenue as the other companies, but they are looking very, very good for future performance, and I think they're gonna do really, really well. So Musketeers, that's it for me. I'm so glad that you were able to watch this video and find it helpful. In my future videos, I'm gonna be focusing more on ways to actually save money. The reason being is because a lot of Musketeers and a lot of people right now are struggling. And especially with this new administration that has come into power, there's gonna be a lot of issues with respect to people saving money and paying higher and higher taxes. The thing is, you can't really invest if you don't have any money to do so. So that's why I'm gonna start from the ground up. I'm gonna be looking at how to actually help you save money, easiest, simplest, and most legal way possible. And then I'll be looking at investing videos, probably into real estate and stock investing later on as well. So Musketeers, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and this is your commander signing out.